They would charge for parking in the parking garage. You would.
So we talked this morning. He goes, I know, I got to talk to him. I said, well, just do it.
Any of the hotel conference center, if that's what was done, or anybody that's in the Nugget that used it, or anybody that came down off hours, like on a weekend for an event, they would pay for parking.
So if we come down to an event, then we have to park.
Yes, if you're down on a Saturday or something for an event, you should park there, yes, but not to do business at your city hall.
Yeah, you stand right there. If you don't do this, what's the next?
So if we don't do this, then I can't tell you what the plan would be here, because Hop and May would go do what they're going to do. From a city perspective, we would start, over the next few years, we'd have to reinvest a ton of money into City Hall and the brick building to the tune of about $20-some million. And we'd have to find additional space for the clerk that has to move out of the courthouse in the next 2 years for him to be somewhere else. So over the lifespan, yeah, and that's kind of, when you talk about it's the lifespan of the project, right? It's not today, it's not next year, it's over that 25 or 30 years that we're really looking forward and trying to say that's the best process to go through, because then we have a buyer for City Hall and we have a buyer for the brick.
What's the timeline for this?
So if it goes forward, they would actually, right now, they're looking at breaking ground on the City Hall here in March of next year.
Really? Completion, what, a year?
Call it about 2 years out. It might be 20 months, but it's about 2 years out.
That means we have a contract signed.
Tom Metcalf is the owner's construction representative. So he's not, Tom Metcalf, not associated with Metcalf Builders, no. But he is their construction representative.
So it's not going to be his company that's doing the developing?
He is not involved in Metcalf Builders anymore.
He's not.
He sold that out.
Oh, he's just an advisor.
Yep, he's just an advisor of the Rock and May on this project. Not involved with Metcalf.
So the 28 million is the 28 million is
Right, the 28 million, 30 million with the buffer we're talking about is just for the City Hall, where we're standing right here. And then when you look at the other, we have the 6 or 8 million that would be associated with the parking garage. All of that other stuff would be done in the future. Some way, some shape. Thanks, man. This helps with everybody standing here.
Does the city have a firm commitment for a cash offer for the City Hall?
The state has told us they want to buy that, and they are going through their appraisal as we speak to verify the value.
Okay, I heard there was some negotiation that instead of giving you cash, that they would trade your City Hall for the old armory site.
No, they're selling the old armory. They're auctioning those properties off to generate the cash in part to buy the city.
But they're not going to trade it to you.
No, we're not. No, the armory properties are going to go to auction.
Do you know when they're going to?
The state is planning in October, but that's a state schedule. You know how that. I have enough. Trying to keep on schedule. But yeah, they're looking at October, late this year.
And they want to buy the brick building too.
No, the state is looking to buy the existing City Hall.
Right. What about this?
The brick building, the Hop and May Adams Foundation is looking at buying after we're done.
So how far along are you on creating a draft agreement?
So we just had a 2-hour meeting today with a bunch of attorneys in the room, and the development agreement for the City Hall is moving along. The lease purchase agreement, we're filling in some of the blanks, and then what we're calling a P3 partnership for the parking garage is starting to begin drafted as we speak, and all that would come back to the board in October is what we're looking at.
Your goal is October?
To bring back the first draft to the board, yes.
Okay, what's this partnership on the garage all about?
So we're looking at taking ownership of some of the parking spaces, so we have enough for the City Hall, and we'd be partnered with some entity that would manage the parking garage. We would not manage it. We would own our own spaces in the garage, and that's what the agreement would lay out.
And what's going to happen to the existing City Hall?
The existing City Hall, as it stands right now, the state is looking to buy it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What's the pipe dream time frame for this? 3 years, 5 years, 10 years?
So the City Hall where you're standing in the parking garage that would be right across Fall Street, they would look to start construction about March, April of next year, and about 2 years from then, these 2 projects would be complete. So March of 29, spring of 29.
Doesn't that take us close to an election?
So there's always an election.
Yeah, every 2 years there's somebody.
Somewhere.
I didn't pencil it out, but it seems to be your timeline is bumping up against the election in 28. And we can't be moving Scott near an election.
That's why we're not moving Scott in 28. We're moving Scott in spring of 29 when this building is done.
So does that mean the required new courtroom's not going to be available until 29?
The courthouse will be under construction. That's why Scott has to move out so they can get into that portion to recreate that space for the new courthouse. And then that project will continue to move forward separately.
Okay, but I understand you just told me that Scott's not going to move until 29.
Correct. Scott would move in about March of 29 when this building's done.
But is he going to move out temporarily for
No.
the courthouse work?
No. The other courthouse work would be under work. Scott would have to move out, and then that would be part of the next phase in the courthouse where Scott is at now. That's a part of why we're trying to consolidate all this. We don't want to have to move people out to a temporary facility for a year or so and then move them back into a new permanent facility.
Have you ever done a customer traffic study to find out how many people come to which agency?
I know they did one a few years ago, but I have not done one in my time here, no.
Are they gonna start building inside the courthouse?
So the inside the courthouse, they're finishing up all the estimates and bid documents and everything, and they're going to look to go to bid sometime, probably late spring.
When do they plan on building?
I'm just going to finish my answer, sir. This next spring or summer is when they're looking to start.
What are they going to build?
It's a total remodel of the courthouse. New courtrooms, new offices, everything in
In
there.
other words, the second and third story will be all finished inside. So
First
you have
and
a
s-
complete building inside.
First and second floor, the way it's drawn right now. The
How about third?
third floor would get minor renovations. So the first and second floor basically totally get redone. The clerk space would be remodeled, all that.
And the third story just sits there.
Well, it would be updated, but not the major renovations the first and second floor.
Why not? Or do you have any idea?
Because that program was budgeted for the money, and we're trying to stay in that program budget for the courthouse.
Well, why don't you just not build that place and finish that place?
Because we have an opportunity right now to get a price that we're beating anybody else in town for this office space with this owner.
Why do we need it?
Why?
Why?
Because we have enough employees in that building and the brick building and the clerk's office that can fill a new space. And over the next 25 or 30 years of the program, we're going to spend more money updating that building, the existing city hall, updating the brick and building a new space for the clerk than we would with this one program.
And that's worth $30 million.
Yes, sir.
This is 70 million, isn't it? Over the period of time, 5 years, I think it's a little bit more than 30 million just for the first part of it. 30 million for this plus 8 million for the parking garage. So how much is it? We aren't getting the answers on the total.
He was asking me questions about City Hall. City Hall is not to exceed $30 million. The parking garage is $6 to $8 million, separate project, yes.
So, is there some paperwork that we could find to see what the difference is to compare the brick if we do add on? Because I've heard Mr. Metcalf say that that's doable. If we added on 2 more stories to the brick that we've got now, it's property that we already own. With this one, we build this one, we'll be paying taxes on it. Property taxes.
So I just, not to be rude, but to clarify, the brick building is where planning or community development is now. City Hall, where we're at, you could in theory add 2 floors to it, but to add 2 floors to it does not give you the square footage we need, and it costs us a lot more money than what we're doing with the new building.
Where would we find that?
That is a part of the estimate we did on the first chart where we had the build City Hall. If you go back to a couple of board meetings ago where we showed some of those cost
We
estimates.
did, but we never. Space needs assessment?
Space needs was done in 2020 before, and we just redid this one, and we re-verified that they had identified 44,000 square feet. This structure is about 45,000 the way it sits.
Where can we get that?
I'd have to, that is somewhere back in the documentation. I'd have to go find that specific one. I have not done that.
Why do you need a new boardroom? What's wrong with the existing one?
Pretty small.
It's pretty small.
A lot of people expressed that it's pretty small. A lot of people say one of the benefits if we relocated to this new building, that frees up additional space that's needed at the community center for additional classes or opportunities over there. So again, a double benefit.
do we have any idea how much the property taxes will be a year on this new building? Because since we won't own it, but we're gonna be responsible for the tripping
We don't
that
pay
moves on
taxes.
it. We won't pay taxes on it?
We don't pay taxes.
Why
We won't
not?
pay taxes.
Because we're the city. We don't pay
What's that
taxes
got
on,
to do with it?
we don't pay taxes
I
on that
pay
building.
taxes.
As a city entity state, they don't pay taxes, we don't pay taxes.
But
Well, that's
we
pretty
don't own the
nice.
building, we're renting it.
That, we're the city, so those are out of our budget items. We don't pay those.
So I realize that the Secretary of State, the old former Secretary of State building is empty.
Yes.
And that's part of the state. Is
Yep.
that a viable solution?
It's not it's privately owned now. Private party bought it some time ago, but it's not, because again, we would be taking the consolidation out, and we would spend a lot more money updating that for the space that we would get versus this new space arrangement.
How many people in town are for this? I don't care about the supervisor.
I don't
How
know,
many
sir.
people in town want this?
I have no idea, sir.
Wouldn't it be better to go to a general election and see how many people like it, like they did on the streets here 2 years ago?
Not my decision, sir.
I'm just saying.
The board has asked me to move on with this project, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's great.
One of the things that I'm going to be putting in my my comments is I would really love, when this is built, the roof of this building and the garage have solar systems, solar panels.
We could look at that, but then again, that's an additional cost, and the payback, as you know, sometimes if you've done your solar research, sometimes it doesn't pay back for a few years. So from a city cost management perspective, that may not work.
But even though the costs are going to be higher, they'll still benefit in the long run.
Yeah,
It-
I mean, the
it may.
schools are starting to do that. I mean,
It may.
I put one of the first solar systems on my home back in 2007, and believe me, it's been fantastic, paid for itself. And then now, my inverter, of course, they only last
Little maintenance act, yep.
10 to 15 years, so I've just redone my solar system for half the cost and got a backup battery this time. And I'm loving my system. My electric bill's $20 a month and my gas bill's $12.
Awesome. That's good.
Also,
So why do we need a bigger building again? Is it because of staff and growth?
Growth is part of it. Right now, the main reason for it is consolidating everything. So all the staff that's in the current city hall, the brick building, and the clerk recorder's office, that's part of it. Adding the boardroom into one spot, and then future growth is anticipated in the new building as well.
So what's going to happen to the old building?
The existing city hall will be sold to the state as it currently stands. They've expressed an interest in it.
Another parking lot for the state?
No, they're going to reuse that building. And then the brick building would be purchased by the Hoppin May Adams Foundation.
I do have a question, a follow-up question to my other question, and that is, with the advent of artificial intelligence, why do we need more staff when there's companies that are already starting to downsize their staff because they can have somebody who can leverage artificial intelligence to get the same amount of work done with less people and actually exceed their output by 10 to 20 times or whatever the numbers are? Was that even looked at as part of this proposal?
It wasn't looked at directly, but as a part of the conversations, yes. And what we're anticipating as well is growth from about 60 to 62,000 people now to 80,000 people. So as we get more people, there's anticipated growth in this building to keep up with that growth. And then there's...
But with AI though, why would you need to increase staff to have more space for staff when they should be able to handle the workload using AI and not have to bring more people on? Because you could have so much automation with AI even right now that why do you need people to do it as far as staff?
What I would project to the future, sir, is I'll take your question forward. If I plan for 2 stories now and I built 2, and we needed more growth in 5 years because we didn't anticipate enough, I would have the opposite question. I am choosing to be slightly conservative and make sure that we have the space. If we have future space and it's not needed in the future, we can find other uses for that to still make it useful for the city, maybe not staff.
so it's a sure thing. Everything's all set, ready to go.
No, sir.
So who do I see about stopping this?
You'd have to talk to the mayor or the supervisors. You could do that. And if you want to know the future timeline, Stephanie Hicks right over there has some of the additional actions that need to occur over the next few months.
Thank you.
You're welcome. These, yes. We just got.
What a shame. I mean, we should have seen this a long time ago.
Well, again, we're trying to walk into it. I didn't want to spend a lot of your money and everything else until the board had said, yes, this is something we really want to do. So that's why we're here today.
You're hoodwinked because we weren't given the information we should have.
I understand, and that's why we wanted to be out here tonight and